On to another production of Sports Guru's channel. I'm your host, Sports Guru. I'm going to be doing both my New York Giants franchise and my New Orleans Saints franchise. So I'm going to be doing videos of uploading both to each individual playlist.
Should we go home now?
No.
I'm tired.
You know, we had a pact, Stu.
God bless Friday.
We had a pact.
God bless Friday.
Fridays we end here a little bit earlier than usual, and I tried to get everyone to agree to a pact before the show. I don't know if you were here, where we all agree that we can all politely just leave when this is done, and we won't feel the social pressures of hanging out and talking to each other. Like, we can just go on with our lives and go home.
Why? Do you guys feel some amount of pressure after the show to chit-chat, some small talk?
No, but I feel like I should say yes.
No.
But at least if we have the conversation, like, hey, I won't be insulted if you leave, then everyone can leave. And also then I can just leave.
So we're saying goodbye right now.
Yeah, goodbye to each other right now.
Bye, have a great weekend.
Hello to the listeners.
Yes, of
and
course.
welcome to your nightmare. I'm in Dan's seat.
Oh, no. Dan's nightmare.
Yeah.
Wheel of Topics?
Well, hold on. Okay, so here's the thing, is I have a number of games that I'd like to play today.
Right.
With Stugatz. I want to do the One Moment Hall of Fame, which I told has been going on since yesterday, behind the scenes between Stugatz and Jess.
Yes, I said Reggie Miller's in the One Moment Hall of Fame, and so that's
This is so offensive. He had a great career.
No, he did not. Name something else he did in his career outside of those 9 seconds at Madison Square Garden. Name one other thing.
Also,
I dare you.
Chris, you can make your own list. The One Moment Hall of Fame also led into a bleed over conversation of like a potential 2-moment Hall of Fame.
Yes.
But we'll get to that later.
Yes.
The other game Billy wanted to play was one that we couldn't decide on if we should play or not.
I have at least 4 games, plus the one that we don't know if we should play or not. So I have End of Discussion, which we stumbled upon in God Bless Football, because Stugatz just said an argument, and then he said End of Discussion. And I'm like, well, then I can't say anything. Like, the conversation's over. So if you guys here or at home or whatever want to play along with these games, think of some End of Discussions that you can just... It's basically you make a statement, end of discussion.
So I made a point to Billy and Mikey A during God Bless Football, and I said, period, end of discussion. There was a minute left. We had to talk, and Billy wouldn't talk because he said the discussion is over.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
So Alexander Barkov's going to win the Selkie Trophy. End of discussion.
Well, hold on. There's music for End of Discussion.
Oh, there's music?
I didn't know we were playing End of Discussion right now. We also have Closing the Loop that we're going to get to. We have...
Wait, what's Closing the Loop?
Closing the Loop is an important game that I feel like we should play every Friday, whether or not I'm sitting in this chair, where we kind of... I'll give you an example, Chris. Do you have the music for Closing the Loop? Okay, so Closing the Loop, I'll give you...
Oh,
all right, it's time for Closing the Loop. So in Closing the Loop, I feel like this is a great opportunity for us to bring back a topic that was discussed earlier in the week that we can close the loop on today, Friday, so it doesn't carry over into next week. So I'll give you an example. Earlier this week, Stugatz revealed, unintentionally, or maybe it was last week, but we're closing the loop anyways, that he wears a hoodie without shirts underneath.
I did.
Shocking revelation.
Yes.
That was earlier this week.
Weird as hell.
This led to some debate amongst the crew. Some people were kind of confused as to how you do this. Other people say, no, I do that. That's not that crazy. So
yes, it
yesterday,
is.
I was in the This Is Crazy camp for just wearing a hoodie without a shirt underneath. Yesterday, at home, I decided to do this, Stugatz.
Okay.
Because I felt very judgmental, and a lot of people were like, what's wrong with you? So I wore an oversized hoodie. I bought a 2XL because I wanted to feel like I had a boyfriend.
Right.
Hoodie. Yeah. So I wore a 2XL
and they're not making
hoodie.
XLs like they used to. I mean, they're just not.
Yeah.
Right.
This is going to be a tougher franchise than the usual.
Under Armour 3 out there. Without a shirt underneath.
You bought a new hoodie?
Welcome to week 2 of the 2023 NFL season on the Madden NFL 2023
extra big because I wanted the feel of a nice big
game engine.
Yeah, like if I had a boyfriend and I took his jacket. Like, because my wife will steal my hoodies sometimes, and it looks so comfy because they're so much bigger than her.
So you wanted to feel like her?
Yeah, so I bought sizes too large so I would have the comfort of the loose-fitting clothes.
On sale, though.
Yeah, of course.
Clearance, yeah.
Have you ever purchased anything not on sale? Like at retail, like at regular cost? Or no?
I try not to.
Okay.
I try not to. Here's the thing. The price is just a suggestion. Because there's always a way to get that object cheaper. Anyway, so I put it on without a shirt, and it was fine.
Thank you.
Close the loop.
All right, good. All right, let's get loose.
End of discussion.
If you guys have, no.
It feels like you ended it. It does.
So if you guys have any loops you want to close, just let Chris know. We can play the music. We can close the loop. If you want to end any discussions, let us know. Also, here's the thing that I'm most worried about, because I saw the schedule, and I saw that Stugatz was going to be the one in here today.
Yep.
And I said, Stugatz, if you want, like, I can go and I can sit in the studio. And he said, perfect, you're driving. And I wasn't expecting that.
You should have.
So my main concern was that we were going to be accused with not talking enough sports today.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to come up with a segment and a game in which we check the boxes scores. So we check the boxes scores of covering sports, and then we go around and we talk about things that happened last night. So I don't know if anyone here wants to volunteer to be the person that checks the boxes scores and to just kind of tell us what happened in the sporting world last night, and then we discuss the boxes scores.
It's going to be a little bit of an issue because the Panthers are very good on preventing teams from blitzing because they have great blockers when it comes to their offensive linemen. So, and I'm actually trying to be a little bit more informative and showing people what different routes are so they can understand, for those who are non-football fans out there, so they can understand.
Carolina's not coming back. They'll await the winner of the Panthers at Boston. A big game 3 tonight.
Now, this is good. As a Panther fan, Carolina's kind of had our number over the last few years. So I actually, even though the Rangers seem a little scarier on paper, I would rather face the Rangers than the Hurricanes.
Well, swept the Panthers did last season in the playoffs. So we kind of had their number last year.
That was last year.
I know we got them in the playoffs, but overall, of all the teams in the East, I feel like Carolina's had our number. If any team's had our number, it's been them over the last couple of years, outside of the sweep.
I don't know. I think the Panthers going to beat Boston this series, and they didn't beat Boston.
Roy's not afraid of anything. Roy's not afraid of anything.
No,
I mean,
absolutely not.
You're just...
I'm fearless.
You're too confident.
You're not fearless. I
Billy,
don't understand who you're putting this.
Are we allowed to do game analysis during this game, or is this just like we read the box scores and then we move on?
Check the pregame kind of, right?
Checking the boxes scores?
Yeah.
Right.
I think checking the boxes is just checking off all the things you're supposed to hit.
Yeah, which is sports, but we're doing with box scores.
Should we do it with things that we are actually going to talk about in earnest, or are we, is it a segue into a better, longer conversation?
No, you can discuss.
Okay.
I'm not
so
here.
we're doing it the right way.
Yeah, we're doing it the right way.
Good.
There's another game that we were afraid to play that we discussed before the show, and the decision wasn't made before the show, so I don't know if we should carry the conversation onto the air as to whether or not we should play the final game / bid. The bid was Wheel of Topics we won't discuss. In which we spin the wheel, and if it lands on said topic, we can't discuss that topic.
Can we try it out?
The only reason I bring it up is because hockey was submitted to that wheel.
Ooh, ankle
It
breaker.
didn't necessarily land on hockey because we haven't spun the wheel yet.
Yeah, you can check that off now.
Had we started the game, though, and we spin the wheel of topics we won't discuss, and it lands on hockey, though, we can't talk about it. So...
But we already talked about it.
Yeah, so it was lucky that we got that in case we spin.
What else is on the wheel?
Let's just spin the wheel, see where it lands.
Spin it, right? Spin it.
Okay, here we go.
Friday.
Stu?
Comedian.
Huh. All right.
So that means we're not going to talk about that.
Well, we can't.
We can talk about it. Yeah.
We'll get to it next week. We didn't end that discussion. That's a different game.
It's okay.
All right.
This is just a wheel of topics.
Can't close the loop.
It feels like if you land on
We'll
a
never
topic,
close
it's
the
end
loop.
of discussion, though. Right?
For the day.
For the day.
Doesn't carry over.
There's always Monday.
Oh, there's
Exactly right.
a tie-in to another game when you spin the
Okay, so we're only going to force a field goal. It's okay.
synergy there.
Can you try it again? Or
Ready?
Spin the wheel.
spin it.
Better catching in this game.
Jess?
Ooh, it landed on the Kendrick Lamar Drake beat.
Oh, wow.
Thank goodness.
Wanted to discuss that today.
Well, end of discussion.
No, that's top. That's another game.
That's the same game.
Yeah.
So we can't discuss that.
Yeah, but let's stop spinning the wheel because we're going to run out of things to discuss today.
Yeah, get back to it.
Goal line. So 100.
Also, later today, I want to play a game It's not really a game, it's more of a conversation.
My God, that is the slowest spin move animation I have ever seen.
And it's not a way that I've ever seen before. And they were saying this is the proper way to cut and eat a sandwich.
Well, it depends on the sandwich, right?
4 seconds. I gotta be better.
It's a little cheap. Like the bread.
No, we mean more like the regular toast.
Oh, regular toast, okay.
Right. I mean, is there more than one way to cut, like a sub?
Yeah, I was in the doubles formation. Okay, everyone. So, basically what I'm doing for this particular play is when I have my X and Y receivers going on slant routes, my tight end going on a flat route, and I'm having the Z receiver go on a slant route. And we got to determine what route will work in this coverage. So a lot of people mainly go to the flat route because that's the easiest route to do. So they like just dump it down and then be able to show everyone where everything is going. This one is a RPO. Galladay is supposed to leak out into a bubble screen, and you got to determine if you want to throw it quickly on the RPO on the pass option or you want to take it and run. But you see, there's less defenders on this side, and there's more blockers than there are defenders on each side. So if you actually wanted to go with the run and do that, that's how you get that first down. Next play, glance route. Glance route is basically like a stutter and go. That is what both Smith and Shepard are doing. Galladay is doing a seam route, and Akins is doing a deep over route in the middle, over this, in between the safety and the linebacker, and I got to determine where I want to go with the ball. And I went with Akins, but it was I was under pressure. So that also shows you how hard it is to throw under pressure because the accuracy goes down.
Officially around the corner. If Mom's Gift isn't already on the way, you've got hours, maybe even minutes to get it together. So head over to.
And then you break a tackle.
Right this second. 1-800-FLOWERS.
And then you was
great last-minute deals on handmade bouquets.
And then, of course, I was just curl flats, the usual route. And then this is a running play, so they wanted us to mainly run to the right side, but I flipped it from the right side to the left side because the left side has more blockers than defenders.
This is your last chance to lock in these Mother's Day deals. Only good while supplies last. Order today.
And then Z post is basically the Z receiver is doing a post route. The X receiver is doing what they usually call a pivot route. The Y receiver is doing a Z route. And I usually go for the zig route because it's the easiest route to throw in this particular concept.
I think Billy typed an 8 instead of a B. Fine. It's clear as day. All right,
Stugats.
Number 8. It's Chris Corner on the line. CC.
And this one is a really hard route because it's basically a running back screen pretty much because it's a block and release. So a lot of people don't want to go for the running back, but I am. But it was not open, so I have to kick a field goal.
Yet, because I saw a video yesterday. I don't know if this was recent or not, but this video really disturbed me. It's Clyde Frazier eating fries at a Knicks game, it appears. And the way he's doing it is unlike anything I've ever seen.
He's holding the cup up, and he seems to be gnawing at the cup.
He's eating more cup than fries.
Like there's a wet ring.
He's eating it like it's a sandwich. He's eating a cup of fries like it's a sandwich.
I feel like if you're sitting courtside, you got to do all your snacking in between, like when you go underneath. Like if I ever sat courtside, you would not see me courtside eating a hot dog.
Right.
I would be one of the people that accidentally spills something on the court and they have to stop the game to like come. Like,
I'm surprised that doesn't happen more.
Happens to I think Mike Ryan's daughter like spills M&Ms all the time or something. I don't know if that was an off-air conversation, but this is really alarming. And to me, it seems like a guy who doesn't want to get grease on his fingers because he wears really nice suits and nice clothes. And he doesn't want to get grease on his.
I'm double teaming more because he is a superstar.
So if you're sitting courtside, is your play let me be as weird as possible or let me be as normal as possible and blend in? Because I feel like I would want to just blend in. But
so yeah, they basically did the same route like I did, crossing routes to stop the cut in between each of the zones of the cover 6 defensive play call because it was basically all the defensive back.
Right? This isn't
no, it is his living.
Yeah. So he's just comfortable enough where he's gonna.
So they ran the ball on that one because it was a blitzing linebacker on that left side.
Walt Frazier should show up at BJ's.
Yeah, so we have the picture of the sandwich if you want to get to the sandwich now, because I feel like
it says these are
back to it later because we already got off our talk.
End of discussion.
So here in the left
Good
is
hits
the new duck cut, which is this Y-shaped triangular thing where you're instead of 2, you get the 3.
Nope.
Yeah, it seems crazy
I like
to
a
eat
duck
it that
cut.
way.
It's better than the Chef Brule.
But no one...
What are we doing here?
Why a duck cut?
Who is Chef Brule?
Isn't that the top one?
No, but why a duck cut? Why is it called a duck cut?
The guy's something Duff or Duff
They're
something.
like they're TV chefs.
No, it's not.
No?
It's not that Duff. It's some other guy. Just Duff.
Chef Brule is a TV chef.
Well, he's a
I
monster.
think.
That doesn't make any sense. He's cut 1/3 of the sandwich.
Yeah, thirds, periods, if you will. Hockey.
I think it's one of those things you do. You stamp your name to it, you get credit for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to come up with a cut.
Are you?
Yep.
I don't think you will.
A stew cut.
And what would your stew cut be?
80-20 my way.
Yeah, exactly right. His more as the Chef Brule looks like the stew cut, where it's 80% and then 20%. Yeah.
I'll cut the crust off.
Now,
I don't like crust.
there we go.
I don't like crust. Not a crust cut.
Have you ever? Okay, this is actually like brings back a traumatic babysitting story from when I was like 13. But I was babysitting these kids once, twins, and they both hated crust. So the mom asked me to make them peanut butter jelly sandwiches, but cut the crust off. And I was like, okay, no problem. The problem was she left, and when they wanted the sandwiches, I was by myself, and I opened the bag of bread, and the only pieces left were the 2 ends of the bread.
Oh my God.
And so I told the kids, and these kids were like really little, and I was like, hey guys, like, unfortunately this is the only bread your mom left for me, and it's the ends of the bread, so it's all crust. And they were like, we're not eating that. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do? Because I can't like cut the crust off because it's all crust. And they were like, well, we're not going to eat the crust. So I had to like peel the layer of like brown crust off of the ends of the bread for them to eat their
Bad
sandwiches.
parenting. Just leaving you with no bread for the kids.
Oh, it was devastating.
Do you guys ever eat the ends of the bread? Anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
If it's toasted, like I like a little crispy, you know. I'm kind of like Jim Nance. Like I'll eat like a super toasted piece of the end of a bread.
I usually don't, but like if I'm like really, really hungry, I can toast it and put some butter on the good ends, and then I can put it down.
But you have to be really hungry and desperate.
I don't want to say desperate, but I'm also a bit wasteful guy. You know what I mean? But I do more often than not.
Okay, it was 2 filters.
So which game are we playing?
Well, no, I mean, this is supposed to be a sports radio show. It's not just games. I was just listing the games that we had, should you want to get to them.
Okay, so this is basically an inside zone is when you're pulling to either the left guard or the left tackle for you to pull on the outside of the block, so then you can get some lanes up the middle.
I was wondering if you wanted to make a top 5 list of things that are better in New York.
Play action boots. When the quarterback is going to boot to the right, or sometimes they have him boot to the left. Galla's going to go on the crossing route. Akins is doing the block and release flat route. Shepard's going to be doing the comeback route, and Smith is going to do the deep post route. A lot of people want to go for the deep route, but I'm going for Akins. I was going to Galladay on that route because I felt like he was going to be the only one open across the middle over in the cover 2 zone that a lot of teams like to play in that particular formation.
None of them were Hall of Fame worthy though.
No.
The most memorable thing he did was run out waving the American
That was
flag.
a moment to me.
I'm confused as to how to play the one moment Hall of Fame because Reggie Miller, everyone thinks he's a Hall of Famer. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Well, Dan doesn't.
But I'm saying, well, Dan doesn't, right? But he's defined by that one moment. Like, I could do one moment and say David Tyree. No one thinks he's a Hall of Famer, but
That's
he had
one moment.
That's one moment?
Yeah.
One moment in time?
Yeah.
Yes, that's one moment.
Smith's going to be doing the under route. Galladay's doing the out route. Shepard's going to be doing the stop, the curl and stop, and Akins is going to be doing the flat route.
On the road. He had one moment. One moment.
Are the Knicks in trouble, Jess? I will ask you as the Knicks expert.
I did say yesterday. Thank you.
Shepard doing the crossing route. Smith doing the post corner. Galladay again doing the crossing route. And Akins again doing the block and release. It's going to be hard to differentiate which one we want to do, but I'm going to go to Shepard.
But Jess is an actual Knicks authority this season.
You know the meme that's like, "Are you winning, son?" And it's like the dad walking in the kids' game.
And then of course Smith is going to do that deep corner, the differentiation between a corner strike and a corner route. This is like a corner, is like a strike corner route. Galley is doing
they
the
said yesterday it felt like
a
game 2 may have
crossing
been the
route.
apex of the season because
Shepard
the
is
Knicks are
doing,
dealing with
and
so
then
many
of course
injuries
Akins
now
is
and going
doing.
back to Indianapolis, and it's going to be really tough for them to do much more with the level. Like Jalen Brunson's questionable, OG's out for game 3. It feels like game 3 is going to be they're going to get the friendly whistle because of Rick Carlisle, but it just feels like, you know, this team's given New York a lot, but the amount of injuries that they've dealt with is going to be really tough to play through.
I would say this because I checked the box score. The Cavs beating the Celtics on the road last night, the NBA's freaking out. They cannot have Cleveland and Indiana in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, no.
This bodes very well for the Knicks either tonight or in Game 4. The NBA
I threw it to the flat route, but I didn't think he was going to be open. I just needed to get the ball
I
out.
like that. That's a good conspiracy theory.
I have an end of discussion submission that goes along with this.
Really?
I mean, Juju has been telling us all season that there is something wrong with this Celtics team.
Yep.
There is something, and he's right. There is something wrong.
I tried to get Smith involved with the passing game, but the defensive back did a very good job in stopping that route.
It's 1-1.
There's just something about this Celtics team. Everyone has them on paper as clearly the best team, and they can't stop farting.
You're right.
Suspect sounds like a problem.
Are you declaring the Celtics season is over? They're not winning a title.
No, but I just think that
Well, then you can't end.
I don't think what happened with the Heat is they got game 2 and then the Celtics blew them out the rest of the series. I actually think we're going to see a long series in this one. I think there's just, like, to Juju's point, there's something wrong with this Celtics team. And I can't even put my finger on it, but there's something wrong.
That's a different game.
Yeah, different game.
Can't put my finger on it?
Yeah.
I can put my finger on it.
What?
Go ahead.
Porzingis is out.
Oh.
I put my finger on it.
There you go.
I checked the box score. I put a finger on it. We ended the discussion.
Your finger is currently on it.
Did the Heat fans get like some satisfaction out of seeing all the Celtics fans leaving with like 4 minutes left in the game last night?
I did. I also got satisfaction out of hearing you talk about the Knicks injuries and like because Heat have been making these excuses for seasons now.
I don't want to hear about it.
I'm just saying it's not.
Same with the Celtics.
I didn't say it was an excuse.
We have 4.5 players.
But the counterpoint there is also the Knicks are winning that series. They're leading 2-0 right now.
Right.
And the Heat were like always down.
Also, I don't think it's an excuse for roster construction or anything like that. I think it's just like a rational outlook on what the next what series
How am I rational?
look like. Exactly. Whereas the Heat have been like, well, if we had Jimmy Butler in the playoffs, then like it wouldn't matter that all of our other role players are maybe not as good as the players that we could have gotten if we had done better to get them.
In defense of Heat fans, it's Jimmy Butler who's saying that. Are Heat fans saying that? Chris, do you feel like if you had Jimmy Butler, you'd still be playing?
I think the series, I think we would. I'm not saying we would have beat the Celtics, but I think it would have been a longer series.
How's this going so far, Lucy? What grade would you give this?
Why are we talking about the Heat so much? They lost.
I don't know.
I've been thinking about this for like a week. All we do is talk about the Heat.
Hold on.
You can end it.
Let's spin the
End of
wheel.
discussion.
Lucy, what topics on there we can't discuss anymore today?
The Miami Heat.
Wow. Oh,
I
man.
drove Taylor into work today.
Thank
We were
God we got
driving,
it in.
and I literally said, I cannot do Heat talk today.
Did he?
I said it to Taylor, and he agreed.
This is Chris
Of course he did.
Prody's fault because we brought up the Celtics leaving and he turned it into like, oh, is this a Heat thing?
When you talked about Knicks injuries, it opened the door for me.
One moment Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Speaking of Taylor, we had a conversation privately off air. Taylor's having a moment.
He is.
Very big for Taylor right now. His
Yep.
basketball
Because of the
team,
Knicks?
his hockey team.
Yep.
Taylor's already trying to get me and him to New York for the Panthers Rangers.
He said that you were going with Roy.
What?
What?
No.
How about you get past Boston?
That is true.
Thank you.
What?
No, Taylor's already planting seeds. If you cover Rangers, Panthers.
Do you have to
I
take a
wanna go.
train?
You need a video guy? I'll go with you.
Wow.
He's like, let's do the same game time bit. We'll take a train up there. It's not that bad.
Look at the opportunists around here.
Hey listeners, it's Mike Ryan, and I've changed a lot over the course of 20 years that you've known me. I've gone from unlikable to, well, my hair has changed. But my point is, while a lot's changed over our relationship, there's one thing that hasn't changed one bit, and that's a great taste of Miller Lite. Another thing that hasn't changed is that it's less filling. So what's the best thing about the original light beer? Miller Lite has sparked this debate way back in 1975, and we still haven't settled it. Keep it simple. It's got undebatable quality, great taste, 96 calories. You know all those things. It's a beer that strips everything away that you don't need and holds on to what matters most. But with Miller Lite, you don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. It's both those things. It tastes like Miller time. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Don Lebatard.
Photography's not as hard as it's made out to be. And now with computers, I mean, you can make anything look like anything. It's almost cheating. It's not fair. If you push a button and it takes 1,000 pictures, you're going to find a good one in the batch.
There were a lot of photographers there taking thousands of pictures. One got that photograph. Okay, good retort. Stugatz.
Haven't you ever passed by a photographer? I guarantee you when that shot was taken, we didn't just hear... That's not what you heard. If you were by that camera...
In my ear with that.
He does a good camera.
This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugatz.
Roy.
Yes, sir.
Adoree Jackson and Aziz Ojolari.
Oh, okay.
I noticed during the break that Roy was doing that. He was checking a box score.
Checking the boxes, scores.
Yeah, I
Actually,
was,
Dexter,
looking at the
actually,
Western
yeah,
Conference
Dexter
National
Lawrence,
Basketball
actually.
Association. I saw that the Mavericks beat the Thunder 119-110.
Wow, knotted up at one game apiece, Roy.
Yeah, boy, that's the knots.
Yeah.
Galling knots.
It's
Love
a
that.
top 5 knot, yeah.
Top 5 knots.
Roy, I want top 5 knots, okay?
What?
All right.
I want Roy to come up with top 5 knots because I was telling Roy that when you're down 1-0 and you tie like the Panthers were, and you tie a series up at one game apiece, okay? Yeah. It's all knotted up at one game apiece. Yes. That is a top 5 knot for me. How about that? Huh?
That's a statement.
Yeah.
That was a bad read on my part because I didn't expect a
a
wheel route on the outside.
Well, I heard it, and listen, Dead & Company is coming up at the Sphere in Vegas. Help on the Way, Slipknot, Franklin's Tower, just unbelievable, and that's why I was thinking it.
Cat's paw knot. I was on the internet earlier and saw that there was like a weird press conference moment last night with Luka. Did you guys see this video?
No.
No?
We were open shots. Just our sharing the ball and our energy was great.
What do you think? Okay. Okay, moving on.
The okay from the reporter mid-question. It's like, okay, this is awkward. Now, has someone met, has there been any reporting on this? Because this is either one of two things. Someone's messing with him, or someone's having sex in the other room. And I need to get to the bottom of it. End of discussion.
Well, that's not how ended discussion
That's how
works.
it's working right now.
He wants to close the loop on this.
But we can't answer you. We can't talk about it.
Speaking of close the loop, the guy who invented the dove cut is... Okay, sorry, my bad. It seems obvious that someone had a tab open on their phone, perhaps. Closing the loop, the Duff cut was invented by a guy on Twitter named Ryan Duff.
See?
Not Duff Goldman.
So this was an Amin situation?
Yes.
This was an Amin El-Hassan?
Yeah.
Someone had porn on their computer at work?
I believe so, yes.
That's great.
Yeah, but Amin was doing research.
I thought that was very obviously teammates of his or something messing with him, just moaning in the back. I went to an all-boys school. These things happened. Where, you're trying to be doing something serious and
Wait,
then
you don't think it was a reporter's phone? I thought it was a reporter's... I thought it was an Amin thing. I thought a reporter had...
Breaks the tackle down to the one.
They'd have to have it so loud.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless.
And here's doing a pancake block for a touchdown.
We're all good. You're saying Daniel Gafford was making sex noises while he was doing that press conference?
Maybe.
I think we need to listen to this again.
I agree.
I want to hear. Let's go. Play it, guys.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Devontae Talk.
What do you think? Okay.
There's an echo there, folks.
Well, hold on a second.
The acoustics in that.
Hold on a second. Because here's the thing. if Jess is right, then it has to be either the person that was asking the question or the people directly next to that person, because that person's holding a microphone. So the microphone picked it up. So if that is what it was, there's probably only 4 people that could have been responsible for that.
Luka's reaction here, we might need to watch it again.
Please, yes.
We were open shots, so just our sharing the ball and our energy was great.
What do you think? Okay, moving on.
It feels like it may have been the person holding the microphone. The way like, okay,
I've got it. I got someone getting freaky in like a closet next to the.
I don't think it's that.
Really? Next to a press conference?
Yeah, just like, you know what? The game's over.
Right.
It's time.
They have no idea what's going on.
I can't wait till we get home.
Celebrate this.
You think it's a play or random
Bluetooth
people?
mishap.
I think it was people that work for the arena that are married also.
Oh,
so
good.
they were just like
A married couple.
There's no infidelity.
They
Yeah.
have 3 kids.
Right.
And the kids are all up. They just got a text from the babysitter that the kids are up. So they're like,
Can't get them
we're
to
not going to have
sleep.
another chance to do this.
But they both work there.
And then they just kind of do the thing to the closet. There's a closet over there, so they do a little
Right.
head point.
Yeah. Go in there.
Next thing you know, we got this sound.
Really? That's what you think?
2 married stadium.
Are you ending the discussion? What are you doing here?
Just recklessly speculating.
Okay.
You're good.
I already said he's good.
So the Thunder lost for the first time in the playoffs, huh?
They did. Yeah, I'm tired of them. I mean,
The Thunder?
You're tired of
everyone
Thunder.
telling me, oh, you haven't watched the Thunder all year. They're so good. They're this, they're that. Luka is limping around like that. He looks like he's 77 years old, that guy. Kyrie gave him nothing last night. Absolutely nothing. They lost to P.J. Washington. I don't want to hear about how good Oklahoma City is. I am tired of the Thunder. I am tired of that team. And I'm tired of everyone telling me what I missed the entire season. I didn't miss anything. I missed a team that's about to get bounced out in the Western Conference semifinals.
What about SGA?
What?
Of discussion.
Okay, I can't talk about SGA then.
Wow.
Well, now you can talk about SGA.
No, you ended the discussion.
I ended the Thunder discussion.
Commercial,
Yeah.
technically, right, Billy? How does that one
Spin
work?
the wheel.
Ooh.
Sorry, Chris. Oh, the commercial.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Can't talk about it today.
SGA still available.
Okay.
What do you got?
Well, he went 33-10 and 33-12, and pretty much was the catalyst in that game for them. But they just couldn't finish, basically. So, like, don't blame the don't blame him for the Thunder's woes.
I'm not blaming him. I just said I'm tired of people telling me what I missed all year with the Thunder. Like they were sitting around watching Oklahoma City Thunder games all year.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
I ended it. That's right.
Yeah. Can I ask? Yeah. We're very loosey goosey on the rules of these games, and I don't respect
that's
it.
a different game.
Whoa! What?
Whoa! It's her game.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's the other game, Lucy or Goosey.
I'm worried that people here don't know my name. It's happened so many
What's your name?
times.
Iowa.
Exactly.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Rodine.
Hey, you said it right. Thank you.
Dan calling her
I got
Iowa
you.
was an all-time show moment for me.
Doug Flutie.
My friends were there for that. It was
One
so
moment Hall of Fame.
Doug Flutie.
Wow.
I have
because the Hail Mary.
I have a controversial one for you.
For the 1 moment Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Really?
USA Hockey. 2 moment Hall of Fame or 1 moment Hall of Fame?
One moment Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
When they beat Russia in the semifinals.
TJ Oshie.
No,
like they had
TJ,
one
get
and a
out
half
of here.
moments.
TJ Oshie's had 2 moments.
Enough. That was
Oh,
not.
his moment wasn't a moment?
Well, he's had 3 moments, actually.
Oh.
That was a him moment, not a U.S. hockey moment.
Wait, one of the gold.
No.
That was one of his moments.
Yeah.
Another shootout moment, right?
Yeah.
So that's
So
2 moments.
he's had 2 moments, but one of his moments didn't count.
That was
For
a
the
third
U.S. hockey
moment.
moment.
The U.S. hockey
Correct.
TJ Oshie standing and making the entire table stand at Lake Tahoe for the national anthem was his 3rd moment.
Oh.
I witnessed
so
it. I
niche.
saw it.
You're there for that.
Like he was
That's
sitting the
not a
national
moment.
anthem. There are a bunch of food trucks out there. Oshie looked at his entire family who was not standing. He gave him the look
Wow.
that you
Why
give
were
when
they
you're
playing
disappointed.
the national anthem at like a golf tournament banquet, though?
I don't know. It was weird, but
Yeah.
Oshie, when an anthem is played, Oshie stands.
Was he at the table next to the sad Brian Kelly table?
Yes. Brian
Did Brian
Kelly was
Kelly
by
stand?
himself.
Just by himself.
By
eating.
himself. Classic
I
BK.
almost went over there.
Why didn't you?
I don't know. I got nervous.
Is that happening this year?
I hope.
I'm going.
Okay.
In the discussion.
For me.
So here's my question to you, Stugat. So you said you're tired of hearing about the Thunder. You're tired of people talking about it, saying you didn't watch it all year.
Really?
I have a suspicion that you want the teams that you paid no attention to
Really?
lose
On the
immediately, so
very
you don't
first
actually
play?
have to learn anything about them.
That would be most of the teams.
Yeah, but
yes.
no, but then you can also be like, I told you.
Yes, I mean, of course, I'm rooting for myself to be right. Plus, I want to see Dallas in the Western Conference Finals. I want to see Luka versus Anthony Edwards in the Western Conference Finals. I do.
Do you?
I do.
All right, everybody, Mother's Day is officially around the corner. If Mom's gift isn't already on the way, you've got hours, maybe even minutes to get it together, so head over to 1-800-Flowers.com right this second. 1-800-Flowers still has great last-minute deals on handmade bouquets, sweet treats, gourmet food, and one-of-a-kind gifts ordered easily and delivered fresh. You want to get Mom something that shows your appreciation for all that she's done? We know you've been a knucklehead. She knows you've been a knucklehead. Please do better. Help your mom feel appreciated this Mother's Day. This is your last chance to lock in these Mother's Day deals. Only good while supplies last. Order today at 1-800-Flowers.com/Dan, D-A-N. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/Dan.
Hey, listeners, it's Mike Ryan, and I've changed a lot over the course of 20 years that you've known me. I've gone from unlikable to, well, my hair has changed. But my point is,
see, I can get Shepard involved.
Our relationship, there's one thing that hasn't changed one bit, and that's a great taste of Miller Lite. Another thing that hasn't changed is that it's less filling. So what's the best thing about the original light beer? Miller Lite has sparked this debate way back in 1975, and we still haven't settled it. Keep it simple. It's got undebatable quality, great taste, 96 calories. You know all those things. It's a beer that strips everything away that you don't need and holds on to what matters most. But with Miller Lite, you don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. It's both those things. It tastes like Miller time. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit
unfortunate.
MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Bij Eurotuin in Merelbeke op Hasselt-Deinze vind je dit weekend moedertuinboeketten voor €29,95.
Eurotuin, waar ideeën bloeien.
Now's a good time to remember where the story of tequila started. In 1795, the first tequila distillery was opened by the Cuervo family. And 229 years later, Cuervo is still going strong. Family owned from the start. Same family, same land. Now's a good time to enjoy Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. Go to Cuervo.com to shop tequila or visit a store near you. Cuervo, now's a good time. Trademarks owned by Beckley, SAB, the CD. Copyright 2024. Proximo. Jersey City, New Jersey. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
A podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Levitard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted at restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's prize if they're just there. But that hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fatface, and the habitual liar.
Segue. You were discussing doing a commencement speech at one point for your school, Clark University.
They never asked, yeah.
But you wrote it, didn't you?
I started it. Stantic wrote it.
You know what I'm just realizing, and this is just something that I'm noticing on our end. You also promised Austin Eckler that you're going to write him a best man speech.
Yeah.
And he's getting married soon. Like this week or next week, I think.
He's coming on next week.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
He's not coming on next week.
For the speech.
Yeah,
you're invited to the wedding, by the way. Billy's invited to Austin Eckler's wedding.
No, I'm not invited to his wedding.
I believe you are.
Let me explain to you how wedding invitations work. You get invited. I was not. So I'm not invited to his wedding. That's how wedding invitations work.
Did Stu get one?
No.
Billy's my +1.
But you didn't get one.
I got one.
My brother actually just got engaged.
Yeah. Really?
Oh, my
congrats.
I actually.
Wow.
I have.
That's shocking.
He hasn't asked me yet. I'm just assuming. But I have, in my future, I have to start thinking about writing a speech.
Well, he hasn't asked you.
Nah, he'll ask.
But he doesn't have a date.
I asked
30,
him.
30.
That's
Yes, Greg.
a bit presumptuous of you.
What are the other options, do you think? If it's not you, who
I mean,
would it be?
he's got friends, but I chose him. It's just what you do. He's gonna pick me. Look, I don't even need to debate it.
Wait. Discussion?
End of discussion.
Oh,
Really?
damn. I was going to say,
I don't
because
know
you chose
about this.
him, he should chose you.
Choose. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yep.
Well,
I don't know about
if you
that.
have
Okay.
one sibling that you're pretty close, I mean, me and my sister are kind of the same way. Like, I was her maid of honor, and every time we talk on the phone and another one of my girlfriends is in the vicinity, my sister will blurt out, "I'll be your maid of honor when you get married, right?"
Wow.
And she's like threatening, and I'm like, "Yes, Deb. Like, I'm not getting
Deb.
And if you have a
Wow.
good amount of friends, it actually takes the pressure off.
Well, not if
I'm the easy choice. Like,
well,
I have to choose my brother here, even though I have close friends.
Joey.
No, that's my friend.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You had to choose your brother even though you had Joey.
Yeah, I would have.
Well, here's the thing,
I
though.
don't want to hurt Joey's feelings.
Has anyone else asked your brother to be their best man? Because then he has to return the favor
There's
to
an
two people.
obligation, yeah.
No, he's been in
I'm
some
gonna
weddings.
try.
but
I
never the
usually
best
don't
man.
try fourth downs with teams I don't
He's like
usually
me.
use that much.
We're in a lot of weddings, but we're never the number one friend.
Yeah.
I don't want
We're
to be
like
in the wedding
we're
party.
like 7 people's third best friend.
Always
always
the
the best friend, never the
It worked,
never the
actually.
groom.
Are you guys
Bronze medal over here.
Are you insulted if you're not in the wedding party, but you know you're supposed to be in the wedding party? It's a hassle. I don't want to be in the wedding party.
No, I want to be in it.
I don't want to deal
It's
with
a status
pictures.
symbol.
I don't want to deal with anything. I just want to drink.
It depends
Yeah.
too. Like if it's like a really close friend and your feelings are hurt, like sure, but it really is such a ordeal and it's so much time and effort and energy and money that sometimes it's a relief to be like, whew, I could just show up at 6 o'clock, have a cocktail, watch the wedding, dance, go home, and I don't have to do shit.
The pictures suck. The only part about being in a wedding that stinks is missing cocktail hour for pictures.
Yeah.
If you do pre-pictures, then you're kind of good, but that's the only bad part to me. It's a status symbol. I like being in the wedding.
There's an obligation to be on good behavior. There's just too many obligations.
You gotta have one crazy guy in the wedding.
Is that you?
No, it used to be. It's not me anymore.
You used to be the crazy guy?
It is you.
It is you. If you don't know you're the crazy guy, you're
No,
the
I'm
crazy
telling
guy.
you, I've toned it down at weddings.
Really?
I've said this before. In my early 20s, I was the first guy out on the dance floor. Nowadays, I'm just, I'm Will Smith and Hitch.
Fourth
just on
guy
the,
on the
just on the
dance
floor.
outside.
Ease into it, yeah.
I'm on the outside, just,
OLI?
like, just watching the dance floor, letting all the kids have fun. It's
The
not my game
kids.
anymore. It's not my game anymore.
Actual kids?
No,
Or
like
25-year-olds.
the 20-somethings
Really?
out there.
Kids like Lucy.
You
Yeah.
call him. Oh, okay.
But I feel like you look at them and you're like,
Oh, I want to be out there.
I get you. So what's holding you? What's holding you back?
Not enough alcohol. Probably.
Really? There's I mean, open bar. There's enough.
Free.
That's
But it
another
doesn't
thing.
hit the same, right, Chris?
Doesn't.
It's like it's gotta, you get more discerning.
I feel like once you've been to 15 weddings, you reach a point of weddings where it's like, all right,
It peaks.
yeah, where it's just like these aren't.
Like
I
the
love
Knicks.
them, but they're just not as fun.
But I would argue
They're a hassle.
I would argue though, there's also like a wedding window, right, where like a lot of people are getting married at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's like when you're peaking, right? But like Chris, you're on the back end of that.
Way back.
Yeah, so then you could
Now I might get one wedding a year.
I know, but that's why you need to make every wedding count. And you need to bring back that Chris for all those weddings. People are expecting it. In fact, I would say that if your brother is asking you to be the best man, he's expecting
hasn't yet.
you to be the crazy one.
Yes.
And maybe here's the thing. He's not sure because of the way you've been behaving at past weddings if you
True.
still got it. And maybe he needs his best man to be the crazy one.
I'll text
and
him
he
right
doesn't
now.
know
I
if you
still
can do
got it.
There's a movie.
No
in here
context.
No context. I still got it.
There's a movie in here somewhere. One Last Wedding.
Oh wow, one of the
Chris,
best
you can do it.
ever.
You have to show them on the front end.
Inside the
This is a
wand.
cycle. You've reached the part where weddings, you just hate them now.
Yes.
I'm in the part
not going
where
to weddings.
I feel like that movie is The Hangover.
I don't dislike going to weddings anymore, but I'm just kind of over being excited about them. When you're in your 20s, you're super excited about them. Like that, it's all a natural part of life. What's happening here?
I want to close the loop on something,
Ooh, wait,
or
hold
maybe
on. Oh, wow.
close it and then reopen a different loop. What the hell are you going to write in a commencement address, Stugatz? What is your speech going to be?
I think we have one from an old, if you can find
So you're just going to use an old one. All right,
Yeah.
that answers
He
it.
just changes them.
Are you going to be like the
No,
Ohio State guy who was like on ayahuasca or whatever?
I had a great one for
Wait,
the Stuttgart School of Broadcasting. You can find that one. It's great. It's really funny.
What happened at Ohio State?
So much happened at Ohio State. So
Oh, hey, it's Lucy.
Ohio State's graduation, they had some like Bitcoin crypto guy be their commencement speaker. He wrote the entire like speech on ayahuasca. He was having the crowd sing. Also, somebody died at this ceremony before it happened. So vibes were already there. They were not great He comes out, he's singing Little Light of Mine and trying to get the crowd into it.
Wait, we have video?
I think there's video somewhere.
Oh, Donna.
And understand things before other people. So I know this might feel polarizing, but I encourage you to keep an open mind right now. I see Bitcoin as a very misunderstood asset class. It's decentralized.
He admitted to when he was asked to being the commencement speaker of not responding because he thought it was a prank. Like, he didn't think they seriously asked him.
Hold on a second. So this guy went out there and he tried to sell people on Bitcoin while he's supposed to be giving a commencement speech?
And he sang songs.
He got booed by 70,000 Ohio State fans. And apparently, I read that the president of Ohio State, there's like a commencement speaker advisory board, and they recommend names, and they will like go listen to old YouTube videos of like different celebrities and politicians and stuff doing speeches to see who's good and who's bad. And then they'll make a list and give it to the president. And the president was like, no, I'm going to have this guy.
They also said that Kirk Herbstreit is on that list every year, but that the people who pick are like, we don't know who this guy is. We have no clue who
Herbie.
Herbstreit is.
Wow.
He just got strays for no reason.
Let me ask you guys a question. You guys went to like big schools, right? So are your graduations, because like at FIU where I went, there's multiple ceremonies, right? So like there's by different schools and they'll like kind of group a bunch of schools together. So like in a given graduation period, there's probably like 6 graduation ceremonies, more or less, give or take, right? Is that how it works for you guys too? Because then you'd have 6 commencement speakers. So you'd think that that's how like someone like him would kind of slip through the cracks where he's out there and he's trying to sell you on stuff.
Not to be a bummer, but I was a 2020 grad, so we got zero
graduation for
All we got was a video of Ashton Kutcher being like, congrats, guys. That's really awesome.
That's pretty good, though.
Ashton Kutcher's probably better than this, but the COVID thing was a bummer.
Right.
To answer your question,
And then the whole
Billy.
Danny Mass or something.
Oh, yeah. He didn't go to Iowa.
The letter.
That was,
Yeah,
wow.
he took. If
But
he
he-
was on
he
the
didn't
weddings,
graduate.
he'd be on the downside of the whole wedding peak. Yeah.
End of discussion.
And Notre Dame's like pretty small. There's only I think 6,000 undergrads, so we have like one big ceremony in the stadium, and
For
that's
everyone.
like the main commencement. And then they're split into everyone's split into colleges, and then you do your college commencement thing after, and that's when you get your diploma.
Wait a minute.
And our main speaker
Double
was.
graduation?
Give me one graduation
Well, this is why
ceremony.
Mad
Get
Dog,
me in and out.
Mad
get me
Dog
to
was
next
complaining
stops.
last year about Notre Dame's graduation being too long, and I was like, Mad Dog, I agree. And it was also outside, and it was 40 degrees.
Can
in
I
May.
tell you something? You know what I hate more than weddings? Graduations. Oh, graduations are terrible.
It was cool, like getting my diploma though. Which is the thing about this weird guy is that like, okay, yeah, it's a graduation, who cares? But like, you know, there's people that like this is like a huge moment for them. Maybe they're like the first person in their family to get a degree, or maybe like they've dreamed of going to Ohio State their whole life or whatever, and they're just like sitting there listening to this guy talk about Bitcoin for like 40 minutes while everyone's booing. It just seems like a miserable way to like end your college experience.
Also, once again, this all happened after someone died at the ceremony.
How did they die?
Someone fell, like,
Oh,
in the stands.
no.
It was very sad, and then this guy comes out and starts singing songs.
Why did they, like...
He went in with an agenda, Billy, and he was unwilling to change.
Couldn't pivot.
Well, no, so they got, like, a copy of his original, like, speech, and there were so many things in there, they were like, ooh, you can't say that.
Oh, wait, hold on. So this was like the approved draft. So he had more things, and then they're like, I guess we can let him sing, because if not...
I believe like alpha male was like used in the in like the original script, and there was like one line about like replacing the word racism with hate, and he was like, this man, he wrote so much all while high out of his mind. Came out there and just delivered a literal performance.
Why'd they let him? After they
Hello,
saw the
sports
draft,
edits.
They couldn't find anyone?
Not Kirk Herbstreit. Not available. They
Guy
didn't want him.
Fieri was on the list too.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The fullback.
Buster Douglas, one moment Hall of Fame. In a moment. Just one.
Jeremiah.
Thank you.
The
Who were
rookie.
the people that you were going back and forth with on Jess on this yesterday? Because you told me and you
Me, Jesse
presented this
Taylor.
as though like you had so many of these one moment
I
Hall
have
of
a ton.
Famers.
Buster
I
Douglas,
have a
a
ton.
boxer?
Yeah.
Yes.
He beat Mike Tyson.
Oh, there are names, but you guys don't know the names.
That's a reference that I'm not sure I...
Let me try some names out, because Roy might know these names. Larry Mize, one moment Hall of Fame. Do you know who Larry Mize is?
Golfer.
Won a single green jacket, had one shot, I think, on the 19th hole. They played 18. They went to the sudden death. And he had one big shot, Larry Mize. Won a green jacket, that's it. No one knows anything else Larry Mize has ever done.
Nick Foles?
Danny Willett. He had a moment, yeah. He's one moment Hall of Fame. It's a good one.
Nick Foles.
Knocked away. What a play.
Philly special?
Yeah, Philly special.
That's the moment, right?
That's the moment.
Danny Willett.
Don't know that.
Andy Roddick.
No, that's a good one. Danny Willett's a good one.
Andy Roddick's a good one. Andy Roddick won U.S. Open. Name a single other big match Roddick won.
Yeah, he's kind of like Reggie Miller, where it's like he might have had like one moment like that, but he's relevant past that moment because of his body of work.
Kyrie Irving. He hit one shot. He hit one shot. I don't want to hear about it.
Andy Roddick is in the International Tennis Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Can you be a Hall of Famer and be in the Moment Hall of Fame?
He won one major, the U.S. Open.
That's embarrassing, guys. You can't tell me.
I don't want to take Andy Roddick out of the Hall of
Culturally
Fame.
relevant, though. Like, everyone from that era knows of this.
That's because U.S. tennis sucks.
Whoa.
Especially on the men's side. Women, we dominate. Men's, terrible.
It's
One
not
U.S.
one.
Open for Roddick.
But he dated Mandy Moore.
Okay.
Reggie Miller also a Hall of Famer.
Should have been.
Should Andy Roddick?
I don't want to do that to Roddick.
We talked to Roddick.
I like
Is he in one of
Andy.
your group chats?
Actually, let me actually, you don't want to do that to Roddick because you did something to Andy Roddick, and I don't remember if you did something to Roddick, and you really did something to me and Andy Roddick at the same time, which is we had an interview scheduled with Andy Roddick, and then you disappeared 5 minutes beforehand and told me, much like today, told me you handle that and you interview Andy Roddick.
What?
How'd it go?
Well, surprisingly well, and I wasn't expecting to be interviewing Andy Roddick at the time, and I didn't have enough preparation to do an entire Andy Roddick
Offensive pass interference. Damn, man.
and a pickle sandwich from Subway.
Helping you grow.
Oh, wow.
There's a purpose behind everything I do.
Really?
So when I do that to you, when I bail on you for Roddick, I want to say, hey, can Billy get himself ready and conduct a great interview with no warning, no advance warning? And today, since you brought it up, same thing. Can Billy pull an hour and a half of podcasting off with no advance warning? And you are doing a great job.
That's good coaching.
Yep.
Coaching that kind of feels like it's last minute. But
Yes.
It's like it's all part of the big plan.
Right, because you never know when you're going to be thrusted into the number 1 seat, Billy.
I do know. It's typically when I see the schedule and you're the number 2 seed.
I like this seat.
I'm
It's
aware.
comfy.
It does seem that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like you're doing any extra heavy lifting today.
No, I like it better when you're sitting in the 1 seat, too.
Why is that?
Well, less pressure for me. I mean,
Do you feel pressure still?
no. I'd be here more.
One Moment Hall of Fame, Stugatz co-hosting.
There you go.
That's 17. I took out the last.
Closing the loop on the Ohio State commencement speaker. Pretty weird guy.
Who is he? What does he do besides sell Bitcoin?
He's an Ohio State grad, and he like runs some like wristband tech company that isn't like well known or very good.
But made him $1 billion.
Yeah, he didn't know how he ended up there. We don't know how he ended up there.
Well,
But
apparently, the president of Ohio State's like a Bitcoin investor or
Oh,
something.
boy.
I read. So
Jesus.
maybe that was how.
Joe Namath, 1 Moment Hall of Fame. And it wasn't on a field, it was by the pool. Dwight Clark. Name another catch. Yeah. Name another one.
David Tyree, that's the other one.
When your moment
No,
is called
Dwight
the
Clark
catch,
catch. Right, that's it.
not another
Damn.
catch.
Beat.
I'm looking up some of the more stranger people to give commencement speech. Jerry Springer once gave one.
I mean, I would listen to it.
I mean, he was a mayor.
He probably has some weird things to say.
James Franco.
James Franco would be one of the worst commencement speeches to listen to ever. Oh my gosh. I'd rather go to a wedding.
Stu Gouts here for my friends over at Simply Safe. When you travel, do concerns back home nag you? Lock up, leave a window open? That's why I recommend investing in Simply Safe Home Security today for award-winning security and peace of mind wherever your summer plans take you. I've had Simply Safe in my home for many years now. The peace of mind it gives me, especially during the summertime, when I'm all over the place, is incredible. because I know the things I care about, the things I value back home. I can always keep an eye on it using Simply Safe's indoor and outdoor cameras. So do me a favor, before you head out on your next vacation, make sure to protect your whole home with Simply Safe's variety of indoor and outdoor cameras, plus add sensors to detect break-ins, fires, floods, and more. It's backed by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day, contracts to worry about, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Simply Safe has given me and many of my listeners real peace of mind. I want you to have it too. So right now, get 20% off any new Simply Safe system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
You should have dropped it on us, right?
You were that kind of sad this morning, taking the barrage of anger from Stugatz because you hadn't booked him enough interviews. The only reason I keep bringing this up is because you are throwing a big party on Thursday. You're doing it, and I want people to support what you're doing because Stugatz has not made this easy.
Stugatz. Well, you know, yeah, you know.
This is the John Levitar Show with the Stugatz.
You've got to be fucking
So
serious.
the day's almost done, Stugatz.
Yep, just started.
It has just started, but in terms of like the show's day is almost done. And as we discussed earlier, as soon as this is done, everybody's just leaving. No one's saying goodbye to each other. We already said our goodbyes. That's it.
Yep.
Pack it in. We'll see each other on Monday. In Lucy's case, we'll see her probably in 3 weeks because her schedule is.
I'll miss you guys.
Yeah. Will you?
We'll miss you.
A little.
Willow will say bye.
I saw Willow crossing the street because we have like a street cam today, and I was like in the room getting ready, and I just saw Willow like running across the cross. That was the whole story.
Hopefully Jessica was with her.
It's a great story.
Yeah, no, well, that's I'm gonna end that discussion immediately on Willow.
Short story short.
Roy, before we go, can we check the box score one more time?
All right, we are checking the box score in the WNBA. The Dream and the Fever played last night. Shout out to Renee Montgomery. 83-80, the Fever won last night. Caitlin Clark went 12-8-6, but had 6 turnovers and went 2 for 9 for 3.
Didn't need to bring that up.
Not regular season though, right? Preseason?
Yeah.
Yes, preseason.
Yes. When's the regular season start?
Tuesday.
You excited?
Yeah.
I thought that you were getting a subscription for the season pass. You said that yesterday.
I'm on it.
You don't know when it is, though?
I'm getting to it.
Yeah. I have a WNBA story.
Her first game's on ESPN too.
Well, yesterday was her first home game, but it wasn't, you know.
It's on Disney Plus too. Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Most of their games are nationally televised, which is very cool.
That's awesome. So if you want to watch Caitlin, you may not have to, but if you want to support the WNBA, you should.
I will.
Okay, good. Just kind of checking back in on that.
I'm excited to close the loop on that next week.
That loop will stay open forever. That we're never going to get like a full-fledged subscription from him.
Well,
guys, I was invited to a WNBA fantasy league this year.
What a cluster that was.
Okay, that's what we're going to get to. Our draft was yesterday. And full disclosure, I never agreed. I just received the invitation. Your draft is today at 7. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be the person that, holds up this draft, so I'll do this. Let's do this. So I start, looking around saying I'm going to do this. So we have a show, company WNBA draft that we're doing here internally in Miami. And the rules are a little bit different than most fantasy leagues that I've been a part of.
In that Rose is just making them up as she goes.
Yeah, Rose is the commissioner of
no.
Yeah.
She instituted a dibs rule.
Okay, Chris, you tell the story.
Sorry, go ahead. I thought we were, spackling.
So Rose is in charge of this fantasy league. She made herself the commissioner.
I wanted to get Ricky Phil Jones, but he wasn't going to get open on his fade route. Traquan Smith in the end zone.
Well, anyway,
Touchdown! He's open in the end zone. Touchdown, New York.
The first round pick that they want before the draft, and it's just because she wants Caitlin.
That's not what I tried to tell you. It's your fault for letting Rose run the league. Respectfully, love you to death, Rose, but I would not trust you to do that.
Well, here's the thing, though. No one wanted to run the league. So
Wait, they got breakdancing as an Olympic sport. What the fuck?
Somehow, everyone agreed to this.
Dude, you're not
rule.
catching this
everyone
one.
was cool with this situation. So then everyone.
Was there a vote?
No, but she said everybody, you get dibs on who you want. I get Caitlin Clark. And then everyone just started saying who it is that they wanted. And
Based on proximity to Rose in the office? Is that how that worked?
I got there late. I was the 10th person to choose.
This is not how a draft works, though.
So there were two.
A low scoring game, which is to be expected with the Giants. They're not really that good offensively. They're offensively challenged.
So I got dibs on Breonna Stewart.
You got the MVP.
Correct. Yes.
The first pick.
Yeah, correct. But if we're going to be honest, the people were just picking names they recognize because someone got dibs.
Oh no.
Who in our league was ranked 998. So had no business being reserved.
Wow. Are you
so,
serious?
Anyways, we get to draft day. It's 7 o'clock.
A lot of players on that rankings list.
A lot of players in the league.
That's where she was when I put in her name because I was looking. I'm like scrolling. I'm like, where's Diana? So
I think there's only 140 people on WNBA
I don't
roster.
even think they finished making cuts yet either.
Diana Taurasi's having a fall, huh?
Well, so yeah,
not pre-cut, huh?
7 o'clock comes.
Hello,
and it's
everyone.
time for the draft. I know I'm gonna get.
Ah,
That's
damn.
the person I called dibs on, and that's how this league works. You just call dibs on someone, you get them, right? So with the dibs system, I'm then asking Rose for follow-ups, like, okay, so since we have dibs, are they just automatically on my team, or does this need to be my #1 draft pick? Because if it doesn't, and they're on my team, she can be my
102.
last draft pick, and I can get more good players, right? So I was told, no, you need to, your dibs players are first-round pick, but you need to draft the person because Rose didn't know how to put people on your team automatically, right? So sure enough, the draft begins at 7 p.m., and Mike Malley, who does video stuff with us, is there, but he's not there. He has the #1 pick, and he's not in the draft.
Who?
Mike Malley.
Oh.
So Mike does not, Mike doesn't get in before auto pick. So his team auto picks Brianna Stewart. And I'm like, well, now what do we do? Because I had dibs on this person, and this is the way this league works. So I had dibs on this person. So then Thomas, who also does stuff with us, helpfully suggested, well, because I said, what do I do? My person has now been picked.
Who?
Thomas helpfully said, you know what you do? You pick Caitlin Clark. And I said, that makes sense. So I picked Caitlin Clark with the 2nd pick in the draft, not knowing that Rose had the 3rd pick in the draft. So now Rose is very upset with what's going on.
Your team is stacked.
Oh my God, anarchist versus anarchist.
It gets worse.
This is wild.
It gets worse. So I don't know what's going on. She doesn't know what's going on. And
Can you please stop doing the same information, please?
And says, like, you know what? Like, I'm sorry I missed it. I was editing. I was working. It's like, no problem. He's like, just whoever had Brianna, just pick Diana Taurasi, and then we'll trade. I'm like, perfect. We'll do that. So my 2nd pick comes, I take Diana Taurasi.
Right.
Which, again, I had to scroll all the way down to find it. It was crazy how low she was. And I'm like, Mike Malley's not going to have a good season if he's picking this with his reserve pick with his dib. This is crazy, right?
No doubt.
So
classic Eminem.
It's only like a 10 person draft. It goes really quickly. By like 7:35 we were done with the entire thing. But there was like 8 people in our 10-person league that did not show up for the draft. So everyone's auto picking. So then
Yes.
You change the time, right?
It was 9 o'clock
We can.
before, then it became 7.
I'm currently doing a video right now.
Show up on time. Chris, I think, got there like in the 3rd or 4th round.
Jerry Bear was supposed to get Asia Wilson. I don't think he ended up getting.
He didn't because he wasn't there on time, so his team auto-picked someone else. So then we have a conversation. Rose did. That's another thing. Rose is now picking people who had dibs on them.
Roy,
which
Rose,
she's breaking the
you see
rules.
now-
Yeah, Roy wasn't there.
Rose, you see now why dibs is not a thing in fantasy.
So
thank
She
you.
ended up with the other MVP.
Rose goes and she picks someone that she's not supposed to pick. So, like, we know as commissioner she can go and she can undo these things and she can just reassign people to her team. She has this power. She doesn't know that, though. So we're just, like, with this trade system. And this is where things got really bad and frustrating, is that everyone that was there was like, you know what, I'm going to respect the dibs, which, again, is crazy. I'm going to respect the dibs. Just trade me this person for the person who had dibs on. It's all good.
400 yards to Sam Darnold. Damn.
So enter Juju, who just
I know it's supposed to be unrealistic, but jeez.
their best players and saying he had dibs on those players. And Juju now has this stacked team because he took everyone's dibs players right after the draft in maximum confusion.
We got to redraft.
He
Let's
then
redraft.
just goes and starts saying, I had this person, I had that person's mine. And they're like, okay, like in the spirit of goodwill.
Starting 5 of the aces.
Yeah, he has a ridiculous team because he just said that he had all the dibs players, and everybody not knowing, we're just like, okay, Juju, like, I trust you, and send Juju all their best players. So then we're like, Rose, you can just go and you can reassign these players to the teams that had dibs on them.
You gotta be.
And then Juju's like, well, I don't think that's fair.
Are you fucking serious?
So now Rose doesn't want to.
How bad our offense is? That is the.
Well, here's the thing, though. Because I tried to do my trade for Brianna Stewart for Diana Taurasi.
Right.
But because she's
Wait,
the best
time out.
player.
You tried to trade Brianna Stewart for Taurasi?
Taurasi's 998th on
That's
the
a
list.
bad trade.
No, I was going to get Brianna Stewart.
Oh, okay. Good
Yeah,
trade.
because that was my dibs player, so I was going to do it with Mike Malley's dibs player. So
M&M.
we agreed. Exactly, we
You were
agreed
trying
to
to
this.
fleece M&M.
No, it didn't let me do. No, he suggested it. It didn't let me do
I'm
it.
chilling.
because
2
she's so
touchdowns. I
protected.
got a little over 9 minutes to go. Hello, everyone.
So, anyways, the solution that I've worked up with in my head of how to solve this situation, because Rose really wants Caitlin Clark, but now I don't have a good team, and Caitlin is my better player on my team. So, if
I
Rose,
can hear Rose screaming from the other room. By the way,
yeah.
she's yelling.
So
These walls are also soundproof.
Here's the thing: if Rose wants Caitlin Clark on her team, my proposal is, and this I don't think has ever been done before. I'm putting this in front of you guys to decide whether or not this is okay. If Rose wants Caitlin Clark on her team, I think she's going to have to trade me Tyler Glass now from her fantasy baseball team to my fantasy baseball team.
Wow. Crossover, fantasy crossover
I think that's
trade.
what we're going to have to do.
Wow.
So, Rose, I'd like to propose to you a trade in which we'll work out the specifics after. I'll trade you Caitlin Clark in fantasy WNBA, but you trade me Tyler Glass now in fantasy baseball.
I give you anyone you want.
Okay, perfect. So we'll have this conversation.
Anyone.
I actually already sent you a trade proposal. If you want
Anyone.
to get this
I'm already losing.
Okay, great.
She's a bigger
Perfect.
Caitlin Clark fan than Lucy.
It's kind of wild.
And like Lucy didn't even argue with that statement.
But Lucy,
because it's true, which is crazy.
But Rose, how did you allow this to happen and become such a mess?
No. That's not my fault. It was Mike Malley. I told him, okay, at 7.
M&M.
And I told him, okay, Mike, at 7. He was the only one that answered.
Wow,
He was like, oh, yeah,
the Lions are getting blown out by the Commanders.
He was the
Why
first
did it
person to ask
do
Rose
that?
She said yes, so
yeah,
he
and
confirmed
he said yes.
it. Yeah.
He confirmed it.
Yeah.
And then he was not there. And then he took Brianna Stewart. And then you were so mad that you were like, okay, I'm going to get Caitlin Clark. I'm like, Caitlin Clark is not the second option. You could have gone with Sabrina or whoever.
Yeah.
You just went with Caitlin because
Dibs is
you
not
were
a
mad.
thing. Dibs is not a thing.
It is in my league.
It is her league.
It is my league.
I am told that Mike Malley didn't come in today because of all of this.
I'm sure.
He's on strike.
Yeah, he's not in today. He also sent me like this long thing apologizing for the mess that he made, and I was like, I don't really care. If I'm gonna be honest.
No, you gotta lie and act like you're really upset so you get something.
But
out
he's
of it.
new. I don't
Stugatz
want him
taught
to
you
feel.
nothing?
Yeah, but he's new to town. I don't want him to feel bad about this.
He
Yeah.
gave me Cameron Brink.
But that's not one
She's
of
gonna
your
have the all
dib
rookie
players.
team. No, because I gave him a player that I don't even know who she is.
But that's not how trades work, Rose.
And he felt bad, and he just gave me Cameron Brink. I was like, okay,
But Rose,
I'll get that.
Feel bad.
this is a problem.
This is an awful league.
It's probably like Enrique Agumbawa. It's probably like a really good player. I don't feel bad for any of you. Rose, you know how much I love you. You should not be in charge of planning things. Respectfully. You should not.
Why didn't you guys want to be in this fantasy league?
What?
I mean, the exact story you just said.
It's the best fantasy league that anybody has done.
Yeah.
Okay. If you say so.
End of discussion.
End of discussion. Thank you, Rose.
You got Glass now.
Hey, listeners, it's Mike Ryan, and I've changed a lot over the course of 20 years that you've known me. I've gone from unlikable to, well, my hair has changed. But my point is,
Any score right here effectively puts it out of reach.
there's one thing that hasn't changed.
So I gotta prevent it from scoring and get a quick touchdown of my own, either on offense or on special team.
Miller Lite has sparked this debate way back in 1975, and we still haven't settled it.
Rankins and Ojolari.
Quality, great taste, 96 calories. You know all those things. It's a beer that strips everything away that you don't need and holds on to what matters most. But with Miller Lite, you don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. It's both those things. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Don Lebatard.
Cheaters never prosper.
Cheaters never. I ain't cheating.
This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugatz.
Can I close the loop real quick before we go to the top 5 knots?
Yes.
Sure.
I want to close the Mandy Moore loop.
Oh, really? This is us?
Yeah, so we talked about Mandy Moore because she dated Andy Roddick. We talked about Andy Roddick in the moment.
I need a quick touchdown, so I'm gonna go up to Smith.
Mandy Moore, to close the Mandy Moore loop that only Taylor cares about, used to date Taylor's cousin and went to Taylor's house for Thanksgiving and for Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah. And then if we're going to close the Taylor's cousin loop, Taylor's cousin was an actor. That's how. Oh, look, there's Mandy Moore with Taylor's dad. For anyone that knows Taylor's family, I don't know why we're showing that, but
Taylor's having a moment.
Yeah, Taylor is having a moment.
Wow.
Taylor's cousin was an actor and was the person that kept getting pulled over in Super Troopers. So there's Taylor's cousin getting pulled over in Super Troopers, and that is closing the Taylor.
Wait a minute. Which one is Taylor's cousin? The guy in the back?
driver? The driver.
Oh man.
Yeah, that is the person
I
that
can't
dated
pull
Mandy
over any
Moore.
further.
Yeah. So those loops are closed.
Huh. Glad we did that.
It's a good show for Taylor.
It is.
He is having a moment.
It's crazy.
Where's Tommy?
Top 5 knots?
Yeah. I got the top 5 knots over here. You guys ready? All right. Thanks for answering.
I'm ready.
So these are your top 5 knots because the Panthers were down 1-0. They tied it up, and I told Roy they have Game 3 tonight in Boston. I told Roy there are a few better knots than knotting a series up at 1 game apiece when you're down 1-0. It's a great knot.
Yeah.
Any OLIs, Roy?
No outside looking in, no.
Huh.
No.
Really?
So we just got 5.
Only 5. Wow.
All right.
5.
How's that possible?
I feel
Ah.
like I can think of 10 OLIs just off the top of my head.
All right, well, we can go with you after the list.
That's okay.
It's his list.
Jeez,
It's your
that's
list.
true.
I don't want to, dull your shine.
Oh, please. Number 5, astronaut.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Number 4, nachos.
That's a stretch.
It's a stretch? Okay.
It's his list.
Number 3, not working. Much like this list.
My favorite knot, number 1.
No, number 2.
Number 2, knotting a series up 1-1. And number 1, garlic knots.
It's pretty good.
Thank you.
I like the emphatic phone slam.
OLI not.
Do you like soggy garlic nut? Like, how do you like your garlic nuts?
Oh, lots of butter.
Slightly overcooked, right?
Yeah.
Crispy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Has to be crispy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No knots very far.
Oh, wow.
OLI.
Knots landing?
Oh. You know, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Don Knotts?
Yeah. There's a couple of outside
Notting
looking
Hill.
Don Van Natta.
Oh, wow.
There's so many knots. You had so much room for OLIs.
That brings me back to number 3, not working this list.
That's, yeah. The bunt line hitch.
Ooh.
That's a knot. I just Googled types of knots. That was the first one that came up.
On the rope.
So Jess asked if I ever did a commencement speech, what that would sound like.
Wait, are we closing the loop? Hold on.
Ooh,
We're
hold on a
about to.
second.
All
Yes.
right.
Unless we spin the wheel and then we can't do it.
I
It'd be horrible. Who would do that?
I created a school called the Stuttgart School of Broadcasting.
Well,
And we did
it looks like I'm gonna have to
Here's
what?
go back out and try this again.
Listen up.